see, we've had the new iRacing update. We've got a fuel gauge and, well, that new fuel widget, the bottom right, quite cool. And I've put my driver input trace bottom left, I've made that bigger. That's nothing to do with the update, but oh, this is wet actually. So, if anyone watched the channel and saw my last race, you'll see how the dog's barking outside, she's doing my nutting. I got taken out lap 1 about here. I went to avoid somebody who came back across the track. Really annoying. Maybe I could have slammed on to avoid it in hindsight, but then equally you just get smashed from behind, don't you? So, but anyway, it was a bit of a mare of an effort that last time. I was from I was absolutely knackered, being at work all day. That happened, and then the laps were just terrible. So I wasn't overly happy with it, and that's the reason why I was back on today, because I don't like leaving things on a bad note. Need to sort of prove that we can do this track to myself in the rain well. So a few of the things I learned from last time, well, I learned a lot from last time, because sometimes I was massively off pace. That you don't really need all four wheels on the wet line to make it effective. So I found a lot of people just kind of doing sort of middle of the road sort of lines, but in a lot of cases the pace actually comes, turn 1 being one of them, from just doing the dry line, as in the normal racing line, but just doing it with, you know, a little bit more sensitivity because it's in the rain. So we're a fair bit behind on the times last time, and we're not going to get, I know we're not going to get near those times today because I've made the track a lot too wet. A lot too wet. But if we at least do some good laps, then I'll be fairly happy. So here I found the quick guys, sort of middle of the track. Again, not fully offline there, but here I'm going to kind of stick to my approach and try and learn it because I feel like it works well. And there's some curves we can use, some we can't. So for example, these, obviously at this speed we want to avoid getting on the white lines in the curves there. But there are a few other curves around the track on traction that we can use. So I'll try and point out. So for example, middle of the line there. Oh, that gets a puddle. Need to avoid that puddle. Seems to work. key to avoid any of those curves on the left hand side there, or the white lines, you're in for big problemo. Final chicane, I brake offline. Keep the first bit tight, and then I'm gonna use the typical race and have the second part of that chicane. Sorry, I'm really delayed there. I can't drive and talk at the same time. I'm not. Need to get in the zone. Got a lot of water here. I'm not going to worry changing too many settings. Well, we're not going to change pretty much any settings in terms of ABS, because I'm pretty sure this is what they're on as fixed, and we're still trying to learn this car and fixed setup. We're a lot later than you think into this corner. I prefer sort of keeping the entrance sharp, braking this straight line and then getting on that outside line, sort of veering off the corner a bit more there. Put it on the apex there. I feel, to be fair, the grip on sort of the normal like racing line through that bit doesn't seem that bad. See what it feels like here. It's not that bad there either. We'll try here. Now I feel like you only really need to sort of like just delve onto the like the typical like wet line, like off the normal bit. You don't need to go all the way 4 wheels on. Bit deep into that. Go a bit quiet, but we're going to try to focus on that was a better brake trace into that first corner. What I'm thinking is we could maybe do a GT, an AI race in the rain. of flattening forth through there last time, but we're a lot wetter. So the grip's good other than the puddles. The grip's not bad through there on the normal racing line. That's the bit we need to avoid. And the dog's back. Right, offline through here. A bit more. Yeah, that's good. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to keep my dog away from eating stuff. Should manage to get something. Much better brake trace into turn one. I'm pleased with that. Smoother. Oh my gosh. I know. Blackboard. Sort of use that curve a little bit if we need to. So you can't get on that bit at all. It pushes you off, but that's fine. You kind of want a bit of a learning curve with me, guys, which I hope you find useful if you are trying to sort of learn from watching this video, and you can learn from my mistakes. Too hopeful during that. Just that bit too. More content on the base into turn one, that's fine. are looking at a great chase, not where I should be going. Ooh, short bit again. So you can use a bit more track on the inside there. Dry line there doesn't work. So using the normal race line into there is very slippy. We'll definitely brake offline into that corner. That's fine. If anyone ever wonders how good a sim is, let me assure you this is amazing. You can feel the car moving around all the straights. It's insane. Oh, that's a big crash. That's a big crash.
You've got wheel damage.
That was a rookie error. Is he talking? I thought I can turn him with that. And it just too slippy. But right. Right. You can nudge that curve, but not fully use it. Go a little bit quiet, guys, while I try and focus a bit more. Power of focusing, eh? Oh, decent. if I'd be able to survive that little thing flat, but the answer is no. Short shifters. A little bit better on traction. Too busy looking at my time delta instead of where I'm going. Could judge the outside of my car a little bit better. Oh, I've done it again. Saved it. There's a lot of time to be found in the brakes. For sure. That's sort of gentle early application, not locking up. Occasionally I feel like I get a lot of sort of braking power when I get the technique sort of smoother. Oh, that's flat. Easy flat actually, that. Have to avoid that outer green bit. definitely the quick approach through there is avoiding those puddles and sort of threading a line through the middle. A little bit there, but never mind. Try to go a bit wide long entrance there, which don't really need to do. Definitely flat. That's better. Brake chasing is nice into turn 1. We've got a big a bit patient on mid corner. That's better. Just moved that white line on the right hand side, but if you push that a little bit harder on the entry into a room, you do get that push understeer initially. It's not ideal. Caution on the entrance in. Maximise the exit out. It seems quite obvious really, but more confidence hanging it around the outside here near the white line. Oh, not that much, too much confidence there though. Through here. Yeah, so you can do that flat. Good 10 to 2 in that. Good bit of time in that. Decent. So if you just get the orange curve, you can be quite confident that you're alright. a little bit early there. Ah, I've done it again. It's annoying. Very annoying. Let's now kick the tyres there in this. I feel like I can feel it. Keep it in second through there. It's good to find a braking point for there. Bit too much over, I think. Braking a bit earlier. Seems better through there. Looks like keep the time gain. Flying on this lap. Hit the brake through there, I think. Brake, don't worry about braking as late. No, not that again. that was a lot faster. Tried to get rid of some of that overlap I'm having between throttle and the brake there, and it seemed to work. Go on. Decent. Well, I might be getting a little bit of fuel effect, but we definitely improved a lot. Earlier braking, gentle off the, I think really gentle off the brake avoids that kind of, that initial, like that change in pitch of the car, which I feel like tends to put it into understeer. If you do it a bit more gentler, I feel like it's a better transition into the sort of turning phase, if you get me. That's annoying. That was a really good lap. Got a bit too confident, but never mind. Shit. You know, one thing we do need to practice is, do I want to replace data collector at last pit stop? I don't really want to replace them. Oops. I need to practice my refueling. And if I can change that to litres, because I'm British and I don't know gallons. 20 gallon. I know they've changed the pit thing. Oh, I thought I had a pit.
Pit boxing in 5.
Oh, so it doesn't automatically stop you at.
1.
Interesting. Oh, cool, actually, the fuel gauge. You can see it going up. And I can now see my tyre wear. Well, the tyres are alright. A lot of fuel though. And 20 gallons is a lot of fuel. I know, of course, it's going to be putting me tyres on, isn't it? Of course it is. Because I didn't untick those.
Move it, move it.
I feel like my toggle switch for those buttons isn't the easiest to work. Maybe I need to a better way of doing that. gonna lie guys, I'm feeling a bit tired. Kind of want to see how we like on what we like on these fresher tyres. Sorry. I'm just trying to recap and reset my head with what we've. So I mean, how I initially started when I started on this track in the rain in this car. I think where I chose to go on the wet line in a lot of places, like that corner, the next like left-hander. In the final chicane was good, and I probably should have followed my instinct on a lot of that. There was a few at the first corner where I was initially on sort of using more the traditional wet line, and it looks like the more conventional dry line racer line is quicker through that. But I guess that's more experience. Earlier braking, keeping the minimum speed up and avoiding putting the car into like big sort of periods of understeer is key. And also having a slow brake release during the later phases of braking is key for like controlling the pitch of the car and preventing putting the car into sort of like quick understeer. I'm kind of explaining it to myself in my own head, but obviously if I'm coming off the brakes quickly, all of a sudden I'm releasing that weight from the front tyres, and I think that's what I was doing, and I was then getting that sort of off the brakes but getting understeer. So I just need to smooth that out. That in turn will obviously probably help my grip on turning into the corners. So I'll have more weight on the fronts to lean on. And I guess the last thing I've learnt is even if you're taking a wet line, like not the traditional dry line, you're taking more of a wet racing line, you don't always need to be fully on it. You can be just sort of leaning on it, if you get me, and you'll still get the benefit, but you'll also get the benefit of less track distance, or less overall track distance. So and probably maybe one of the last things I've learned is the orange curves on this track. You can lean on them and use them even in the rain. In the majority of places, it's more the white lines and the green that you have to worry about. Fair bit of fuel on board, but we've got fresher tyres, and the fresher tyres seem to be making a whole world of difference. That was when losing the white line, so I'm pushing the...
Slow down. You got a penalty for cutting the course.
Trying to sort of push the limits of using the dry line now, but didn't quite judge the side of the car right on that occasion. Probably again the orange there is good if you get it right, but I need to smash down those gears. I don't think it's much into that corner. I'm beginning to get a little bit of brain fatigue. Oh, it's 9:30. Wow, we've been on here way longer than I thought. An hour and 7. Hey, but it's been productive. Oh my gosh! Just tell me I don't have any damage, that's literally all I want. I don't want to pit again. Ah, you mother. Ah, you mother. So when you begin to get tired and you want to push through it, but... just dragged me off. I was confident. I thought I'm going to stay pinned. Bit too confident. Bit too confident, unfortunately. I think I'm definitely getting close to switching off, guys, but let's try and do one more sort of nice lap. Surely just one more lap. Just one more. Tyres there. Brake trace was nicer though. So had a decent bit of overlap on the brake and throttle, but cold tyres. Micro weaving does not really warm the tyres up very well, I know that, Harry. I was like a longer trail off on the brakes into that corner and it worked a lot better. So I feel like being able to lap sort of fastly and sort of consistently in practice doesn't necessarily translate to being able to do that in a race. But I feel like before I wasn't sort of remotely fast at all in practice. Well, I definitely wasn't fast. But I feel like we're sort of a step closer to that now. I think now it's kind of beginning to put this, what we've learned, into... I can brake a lot later there on fresh tyres. Kind of begin to put what we've learned into practice in race conditions and build up the consistency there. I wonder if I'm drying the track out. That's why it's getting quicker, but it's still raining, so I wonder if it'll be getting that much quicker. Let's have a lap of good technique. There's the one on the left that had just avoided the white line on the right, but just a bit too greedy. bit too greedy. It's so Moorish, this, guys. I feel like I am really beginning to get the hang of this now, and I feel like I've unlocked a bit of speed in these cars. Let's go through that second part. Interesting how there's so much time there. The throttle application is poor, to be fair. Yikes. Braking's getting better. I need to just better on the throttle application, smoother. I've not got a linear throttle trace set up on my Moza settings. Actually, I've got I don't know what you call a non-linear throttle setup, to be honest, but I have a non-linear throttle setup. Oh my god. Somehow we're still up. We've got a lot of rears into there. But yeah, I think I have my throttle like map set more for underpowered cars, so I get more throttle sort of during the initial 50% of the input compared to the second part. maybe we can sort of underdrive it, Harry. Decent. Let's see what that went like. Didn't go overly well, did it? I'm quite chuffed with that, guys, that last bit. So we've learned quite a lot. Let's have a look at that last lap. Let's go chase cam. This is our fastest lap. Probably try and use a bit more on the outside, but decent. Just looking at well, guys, if you've been watching, thanks for watching. I feel like I learned quite a lot, so I'm hoping if you've watched, you have also learned quite a lot. I mean, we're far from perfect on it, but I think we're definitely improving, aren't we? We're definitely getting there. So hopefully, the next lot of Rain Master races will be quite good. Let's have a look what we've got this week. Is this the week 13? This is like the random week, isn't it? That's a shame. I don't have Ferrari 296 Challenge. I don't have that car. I want the Porsche Cup car actually. And then there's, I don't know what I can do this week, guys. It's a bit of a, do Formula 4, Formula 3. Formula 4 on the Mazda. Anyway, it's time to go chill. Thanks for watching.